Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Christina. I am a homeschool mama of 2. We are in our 5th year homeschooling, and I'm just going to get right into what we got done yesterday. Okay, this is my eldest pile. In the morning she comes and sits down and does individual subjects. So this is her pen time. She's still working through the pen time 4. And she comes in and just does a page a day. So she did some copy work yesterday. Some information about Ohio and wrote that down. We also worked on her spelling. So in the beginning of the week we do a pretest and go through her words for the week. Whatever it is that she doesn't get right is what she works on. So she only had a couple of words to work on this week. So yesterday was a spelling box day. So both my children ended up using the spelling box. This is just something we do once a week, and they just pick it, and whatever it is they get, whatever activity it is what they do that day. So there's various things in here, from spelling with tiles, spelling with stamps, writing the consonants a different color from the vowels, ladder writing, excuse me. There's just various things, and I add to it if I want. I've taken things out, like things like a salt tray, writing with your finger. She also read for 20 minutes. Every day she reads for 20 minutes. This is what she's currently reading. What a Character, America's Famous Spies. This is from Marilyn Boyer. These are a new series from Master Books. We have, I think, 4 of them, and I know they're having like a full set of 10. So she's really enjoying reading. They have various like vocabulary words pointed out throughout, and just stories of individual. This one covers the American War of Independence, the Civil War, World War II, and then it kind of goes into specific people that were spies of that time. So she's reading that currently and read for 20 minutes in the morning. Now this is my son's pile, my 8-year-old. He does some sort of math fact practice. So this is just a worksheet I pulled. I had some extras from the free math program. I talked about some of my favorite free resources in a previous video. I can go ahead and link that if you're curious about that, but he did just one side of this, so today he'll be doing the other side. And he works on copy work. So he just did these 2 pages of copy work. Of course, he always has to find time to draw a picture. So he worked through that, and this is all what he kind of just sits down and works through in the morning. And then he has his number book and just did a line of that and just adding to that. So currently he's going up to 900 on this page. This book in particular just goes all the way to 1,000. So he's almost done with that. Once he finishes this page, he works on the activity side. This is from Christian Light Education. So we've enjoyed working through this, and he still has some to do there. So that's what he did yesterday in his Explode the Code. He came in and just did an activity of a word bank activity and filled in the blanks according to the picture. So he likes working on this. So we work on that in the morning. So that was all of his independent work that he worked on yesterday morning. Now once that's done, we all get together in the living room and watch World Watch. We watch that and then come in and do our family subjects. So for family subjects, we always start with scripture memory. So we just go over our passage, and I have the kids each take a turn. They go through it. If we're struggling in something, we go through it again together, and then we'll just keep working on that the next day until we've gotten through all of it and we're ready to work on another verse. So we are working on bigger passages this year, and that's worked out well. We sing our hymn, so we do that together. We just pull up the song and we sing our hymn. Then we moved into Creation to Babel. This is a commentary for families that we are reading, and this has been a really nice resource. We're currently in Genesis 3, chapter 9. So just reading. We talked about Eve giving in to the temptation of the serpent, and how Adam was there but didn't say anything. So we kind of just talked about that, of what could have that been like. Why do we think he didn't say anything compared to when Jesus was tempted by Satan, and the things he was saying, quoting God's word and using that as sort of an armor. And it was just a really interesting conversation. We had a lot to talk about that. We read in our answers book. It was just a question. Are dinosaurs still alive today? Has anybody ever taken a picture of a dinosaur? So we read that question and the answer. And the kids got a kick out of that picture. It was an interesting picture. But this has been a fun resource as well. We did financial literacy yesterday. So this is Money Matters for Kids. This is by Larry Burkett. And we started this last year. So we're still working through this. This is kind of looped into our morning basket. We were doing civics the first part of the year. And obviously we had our election day pass. So last night we were up late filling out the map and kind of, staying on top of what was going on with that. So now, since we finished civics, we're back into financial literacy. So I really like this resource. This another sparked some good conversation about honesty and when and how we can be honest in the situations that arise in our lives. This was particularly talking about if you were shopping and ended up getting more change back than what you were owed, what would you do? So that was a nice talking point for my kids and I, and we touched on a lot with that. So we're going through that, and we just do this once a week. So this will be back in the basket today, and I'll be pulling out some new resources. Then we moved it into science. Science was just a real simple read. We were just reading yesterday. Some mornings you want to, take it a little easy. That's kind of where we were at yesterday. So we read the structure of the respiratory tract. And, the kids definitely got a kick out of this picture, talking about mucus and how much mucus we actually produce daily. So the average person produces about 1 quart of snot a day. So there's a fun fact for you. And yeah, that was, again, just interesting, and we just talked about it. So after that, we always read aloud. Currently, we're still going through the Railway Children. Chapter 11, and these are really long chapters, so I split them in half. And we read half one day and half the other, so get through that. And we finished this resource. This was a resource we were working through last year as well. And we enjoyed it. Some we skipped through. There's like a spooky section, all of that. I skipped through those. And we are now just focusing on a particular poet. So this is Robert Frost. And these are nice books. These are the Poetry for Young People series. And there is always a section in the front that gives you a little background into who the poet was. So we read through that when we started this series. And we just jumped ahead because this is kind of seasonal. So we're just doing the autumn ones currently. And we read A Cow in Apple Time. So these are a lot longer poems than you would find in there. And the kids are, you know, learning to decipher poetry and understand. So this has been good so far, just focusing on a poet. So we'll continue to do that. And that was our morning subjects. So I'll go ahead and share with you then what we do after lunch, because after we do this, we do break for lunch. Okay, now back to my eldest. She comes in here after lunch and works on some individual. So she does her nature reader. This is the book 5 from Christian Liberty Press. So she just comes in and reads a section of that and works through the questions. So she was reading more about crabs. She just reads through all of this, and then she gives me a narration of what she's read. We kind of talk about it, and then I physically have her write the answers to the questions on another piece of paper. So just grabs a piece of paper and she works through that. Of getting used to finding the answer and putting them into her own words. You know, we discuss plagiarism and all of that and what that is, and just having her get a feel of putting them into a sentence that explains the answer in her own way. So that's just giving her some experience doing that. So she worked through that yesterday, as well as her language lessons. So she's been taking notes and keeping them in here. So yesterday she worked on verb phrases and what that is, and pinpointed those in some of the things, and then it's a writing activity. So she was talking about onomatopoeias, which is always hard to say, and you know, working through that and writing. So that was language lessons, and then she finished a lesson in her math. We do math for about 40 minutes, so she does put a timer on, because otherwise math was just kind of getting long for us. So this is just helping her break things up a bit better. So she finished lesson 25 and worked through that, and she just works through that in here, according to whatever it is she's working on in here. So these are kind of what the lessons look like. She just works through those and writes the answers here. So those are all things that I have to grade today before we start school. She didn't have anything in here, so this is like her math fact practice and stuff. She worked on the one for this particular lesson yet the day before yesterday, so she didn't have anything out of that book. So she just finished her problems here. So this is something I have to grade. But that was all she had to do yesterday. So my son, after this is all his independent stuff, after lunch he comes and sits and we do calendar. So he just adds whatever date is to the calendar. We go over that. And this particular one, every month in this book has like a theme. So October, he was circling what sort of clothing he would be wearing according to the weather pattern. And so now this month he's looking out of the window, and if it's dewy, if there's frost, if it's dry, he's marking that. So yesterday we had a lot of rain, so of course he marked dew. And we just go over the calendar, where the day lies on the calendar. He tells me his days of the week, he tells me his months of the year, how many months of the year do we have, how many days of the week do we have, those sorts of questions. and we just kind of go through that. There's also a guide in this book of different facts you can ask to memorize, like your seasons, how many days are in each month. There's a nice fact page that you can base your memory work on in the morning. So we kind of go over that. He did that. He reads a chapter from the Beginner's Bible. He's in the New Testament, so he is working his way through this pretty well. So he just reads. Yesterday was kind of a short one about the birth of Jesus. Yeah, so he read this one. Baby Jesus is born. That's so pretty quick. And he's been reading it to me like in the evenings from a whatever reader. He really likes anything animal-based, science-based, so he reads a lot of those. And then we just read a page from the Handbook of Reading. We're just doing this as kind of like review. I really like this resource. I bought this last year. We started using it loosely last year from a thrift store. So it was like $1. I found it. And always heard good things. This is a resource from Rebecca, their reading program. And I really like it. It's definitely a great resource to have. And I just have him read a page a day and we go over it just to remind him of those phonics rules. So we did that. And for his spelling, he did the spelling box. So he did the spelling box and had to spell the tiles. So we just used the bananagrams, and he just uses a tray. I think I just got this at the Dollar Tree. So he puts his tiles in here and spells the words. And I'm just having him with him. He's still in the beginning stages of spelling. So we've stopped doing like a pretest. Unless I know he knows how to spell that word, I'll just leave it out and he will just work on all the words. And there's like 7 words they give them at this level for level 2. So that's what I'm having him do. So he just spelled those words out. He says them and spells them out loud and worked through that activity. And then we came into language lessons. He did an exercise on plural nouns, adding the S or ES according to how the word ends. And we just worked through that activity and read the singular and plural forms. And that just continued on to the next page where he had to figure out, according to how the word ended, how he was going to end it to make it plural. So that was a good exercise. For math, we are in a review week, so all week we've been reviewing things. Yeah, so we were reviewing odd and even, and going over, he was looking at these numbers and counting them out with some counters. So we like these math cubes. I feel like if you're going to get a math manipulative, math cubes are it. I mean, I feel like these are the ones we've used the most in our homeschool in the last 5 years of homeschooling. So he just grabbed those and counted out the numbers to figure out what they were odd or even. I wanted him to do the actual hands-on with that while he could have just said, according to the number, what it was. I wanted him to physically see if you put 2 piles, is there any odd man out, to kind of see that visually. So he worked through those and circled what it was, and of course wrote what the even and odd numbers were and what those numbers can end in. And then kind of narrated that back to me and kind of told me what that was in his own words. So that's what we did for this lesson, as well as some pages from here. So like this practice makes perfect. It just sort of like reviews what he's been working on. So yesterday he just came in here and wrote the before and afters of the numbers. Whatever came before the number, whatever came after. So this was something he was able to do on his own. So that was just review. And that's what he did for math. So that is what my kids did yesterday in our homeschool. Again, every day is different. And that's kind of why I like sharing this, just to share how every day is different. Some days, you know, might be a struggle day where it's like really hard to get through subjects. Some days the day flies because you guys are enjoying yourselves so much. Some days take a little longer, you know. Yesterday was good. I think we finished probably around 1:45, 2 o'clock. So it was good. There are some things we didn't finish for my daughter that we're just going to double up today, which was history. And my son, we didn't get to the nature. So we just felt it was like one of those days. It was raining and we just felt like we wanted to cut it. So we cut the day. I mean, beauty homeschool. And these are things that we can't, you know, that we can definitely make up. But you just play it by ear every single day of your homeschool. It's going to be different. So hopefully you enjoyed that video, and if you have any questions, make sure to drop them down below. My kids will be filling out their election maps today, and may the Lord's will be done. And God bless y'all. I'll see you in the next one.